store is cashing the lottery ticket and drop a $5 bill with 222 on it. You just so happen to walk into the store after he done left and been gone. You don't see no other customers in there. You like, oh, look, a $5 bill. Reach down, pick it up. Damn, 222. He didn't know he was leaving you a $5 bill with 222 on it. Spirit was moving the $5 bill and seeing where you was on your way to the store. It had 222 on it, so it knocked it out his hand when he was putting his money in his pocket. And all the rest of his notes is fully intact. That's how spirit used that energy is easier that way. So now you got a frame of reference, right? So then you become a physicist. You can calculate a 2-gram note or a 1-gram $5 note and multiply how many grams go into this house I'm looking at. How long did it take for that note to get here? Multiply that by how many times that note fit into the fit into the weight of the building, and that's what you do. But remember, it'll reduce by double each day as long as you stay the course of trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
No doubt.
Yeah. So every day you can do one thing even if you take a glass of water and pour it on a plant in the backyard as a physical representation of your efforts. Because you moving spiritual energy into the physical world, it requires you to do some physical movement so that you can open up the energy vortex for spirit to activate into the physical realm or to do work in the physical realm. So you're creating an energy vortex from source to physical world in order to facilitate change in the environment to give you a perfect alignment in all your steps. This was part of teaching the child how to create their best life a long time ago. Now the adults have to get the information so we can get it to the babies. They used to already know it because they used to be taught it as a baby. So it was easier to relay it to the youth. Now it's more difficult because most of the adults don't know it no more. So now we got to go on a campaign of educating adults so that they can liberate the children, so they can liberate our future. Because I don't care what you think, our children going to go way further in the future than we going to go. Most of us. The lucky ones. Because nobody want their child to leave before them.
That's a fact. Well, I got another question, another random question that just came to mind, and I do got like I might have a 16 for you if you don't mind me spitting for you.
Man, you know that's my thing.
All right, but let me ask the question first, because I'm from New York City, and I noticed like there's a lot of like people who dropping the knowledge from New York City. Like, what's the special thing about New York City? We got like Brother Rich, we had Brother Panic, you know, rest in peace. We got A. Rashid, Bobby Hemming used to go there all the time, C. Free Manel, what's the OG? We got Eileen Bay, we got it's a whole bunch of people from New York City that's dropping the knowledge, and like I just feel like it's something just different about New York City. Like what's so special about New York City? We got Infundishi, you know, so many people came through New York City that was dropping the knowledge.
Ain't New York called the Empire State?
Definitely.
Who's the empire?
The empire. I guess the emperor is the emperor, you know, like the rulers. Hey.
You got to be somebody empire in order for that state to belong to the empire. They tell
you mean like
you in the name.
You mean like a specific person who actually was the emperor?
Look, it tell you in the name of the city. What's the name of the city?
New York City.
New York City. What's the name of the state?
New York.
That's an echo. It's reinforcing that New York is New York, and it is the Empire State.
Hmm.
The Dutch was doing business with the tribes in New Yorkshire, but back then it was called New Amsterdam. But when they signed treaties, they changed the name from New Amsterdam to New Yorkshire. Then it became New York. But it was the first place that the chiefs got tricked out of a large plot of land by settlers with trinkets. They never intended to sell the land. This is the ODB Wu-Tang grievance. Shinnecock Nation of organic peoples to the land. So the reason so many people had to come to New York, it was ground zero for the false doctrines to be pushed into the communities. Remember, music doesn't change without the Harlem Renaissance, right? Stage shows don't take hold without Apollo, right? Um, diamond traders can't diamond trade without Manhattan because they got to keep the diamonds in the hat. And when somebody wants the diamonds out the hat, you always pull out a trick, a rabbit. Because tricks are for kids, right? So the hat is Manhattan of the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter is the man with the top hat.
Mm-hmm.
The man with the top hat is the man in the black suit standing at the crossroads, waiting to bring judgment on the enemy to his people. This is not only do the knowledge spring out of New York, breakdancing, which is dance combat to relay a message without actual bloody war. To keep with the contract edict, they use dance instead of combat to tell the secret out of New York. Father God Allah, Clarence 13X, affectionately known as Puddin', put into the public domain out of, I think, Brooklyn, the 120 degrees of the 5% nation of gods and earths. The 120 degrees, I think they gave it out in 19 lessons, I think, or was it 21? I don't remember the number. But these was all elders that was trying to unravel the conjure of the settlers that usurped New York. When you go back, Arthur Schomburg was the largest collection of historical works in relation to melanated peoples around the world, which gave us the Schomburg Library and Museum in New York, which became the capital for everybody that wanted to excavate our history and find out what happened because we was coming out of this amnesia. So you see a parade of elders marching through New York, and the Schomburg Library was a mecca for anybody that was working on the problem, which is the liberation of the original people for Turtle Island. The roadblock was the transatlantic slave trade, which was a side rail, what they call a collateral attack. The sensationalism of the numbers that came in the transatlantic slave trade to the mainland is used used to cloud the vision of the ones that's waking up from the slumber, and they won't be able to remember that they was already here. But they gonna take the narrative that they came from somewhere else, and then they're gonna build a confraternity. So the UNIA, right, function. The confraternity's purpose is to find out from the people in Africa if you from Africa or not, right? The people in Africa also was usurped just like us. So when we go and investigate, we find there's two groups of Africans that identify us differently, right? They just dropped the, this is the 5% science. I'm gonna pin it if I can. Just the 5% science.
I peep Supreme Math 1 to 10, 114, 136, 140, 12 joules, actual facts, solar facts, 120 degrees mass.
Yeah. So all of these things, now out of these assignments right here that he's naming, you get Rakim Allah, you get KRS-One, you get LL Cool J, you get Jay-Z, you get Brother J from X-Clan, and the rest of them all started studying at 5%ers. Whether they joined or not, I'm not sure, but all of them was into the studies of the 5% nation of the gods and earths. Right? Brand Nubian, almost all of the groups that came out in early New York they came out speaking the lingo of the nation of gods and earths to the public in the original rap songs. Like Rakim's first song, My Melody, is loaded with 5% science and lingo. Right? But we don't know if we don't study the tribes from New York, because this is going to show us why all of these people was coming there. This is the epicenter of activity for our awakening, because it's one of the first places that we were sacked. Right? Also, the Delaware Indians, first state incorporated. Right? Also, the Virginians, where Big Mama called us all to war from to go fight the Gullah Wars in Florida. So you see different function or different activity take place in those areas. But it's all something that's tied to us putting the puzzle back together as to who we are, right? Like Nikki Barnes from North Carolina, Frank Lucas from North Carolina, Bumpy Johnson, I think, from North Carolina. They all Gullah. They all went to New York and got rich using what the slave master allowed them to get rich on. We wasn't allowed into their business world. They was murdering us for it. So we had to come up with our own business models. So then they banned them and made them illegal. The government making stuff illegal to turn what we already doing to make money into a crime so they can punish us for trying to get out of poverty. Systematic, organized efforts to keep us down.
No doubt. So it sounds like New York is definitely like a big part of the shift. Is, you know, as much as other states, as much as other territories. But yeah, I'm gonna give that 16 before we get up out of here. And if you motivated, inspired to get something back, I don't mind. All right. Hopefully,
I'm a little too tired right now.
I
But I'm gonna listen to you though.
All right. So niggas think because they vegan and they meditate, their problems gonna be solved. They don't tell once you start healing all your problems, they revolve. They evolve to that new nigga. You trying to become more money, more problems. How much problems do you want? Pick your poison. Once you clear your mind, it gets noisy. The universe is mental. Do you think you got choices? Everybody hear voices. Who listen to the right one? Matter of fact, who listen to dog? Cause ain't no wrong. Nah, who the fuck do we listen to in this environment? Old folks telling you the enemy is hiring. Young niggas hustling. Young bitches lining them. Dotted line their souls, hoping somebody signing them. But they don't see the signs though. We blind far as the mind go. I don't believe in time. I can thrive at any time zone. It's all frequency. You know that you a god, right? Let's call it spade a spade. You just gotta play your cards right. Acting like an animal, but think you humane. It's the same thing. Can you master each plane? God, you complete all the parts. Arm, leg, arm, head, Allah. There's more than 7 chakras. You think that you tapped in because you know the seed sounds and hum sacred black hymns. Lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, am, om. You want peace in this world, but there's war at your home. My mom's is my pops when my pops wasn't home. And he was never there. She did it on her own. Immaculate conception, 9th child out 11. As above, so below. You in hell, this is heaven. Can't nobody teach you. You reach it if you ready. Ain't no such thing as a secret. They won't do it if you tell them. Information, knowledge, wisdom ain't the same. You ain't a real play. You just talk a good game. Information, knowledge, and wisdom ain't the same. You hate school, but expect your kids to love it. That's insane. Black man, black woman, white dreams. It's European to call a bitch a queen. Hold on. I know that went over your medulla. A king is a king. Fuck the gender of the ruler. Money over bitches. Definition of misogyny. Believing you're the body. You'll be suffering till you out of it. You either thinking natural or you think logical. You programmed by the system or your ancestors guiding you. Either way, I'm proud of you.
That shit lit. Look, when I get ready to do my music project, man, you gonna want you in on that shit.
Say less. Say less. I
Yes, you
stopped because I could have kept going. But I didn't want to take up too much time. But this bar shit is what I do.
look, what these niggas know about a life in the pen, making love to your wife with a pen. But in the end, you can't keep a chick with a letter. Sport coat, reading your letters, dick in the better, decreasing your cheddar. First sign is over, but don't fret, nigga. It's time to be a soldier. On a small or big yard, take out your aggression. Resort to hard shit for a lack of affection. Ain't no protection from religious philosophers here. The first warning, predators feed on fear. I'm in my own zone. Shit, niggas keeping me stressing. I'm by my bunk late night, mama praying for blessings. Been gone too long, locked dead in the cell. Wait a minute. I've been gone too long, locked in the cell, doing hard ass time. These niggas sick as hell. 2 niggas got shanked last week in holy war. They claim to be religious, niggas rotten to the core. Well, sure you got some with a golden tongue, speaking redemption all the time, but their souls is numb. They got me cooking orange juice cause I need a drink. I caught the chronic on the yard, I need the weed to think. Hoping to release me for the streets to roam with freedom from stress, nigga. I'm in my own zone.
Let's go. Good looks. That you wrote that when you was locked up?
Yeah.
Tight. How
No,
much time?
actually, I wrote that when I got out because I was saying these niggas is throwing rocks at the penitentiary. They don't even know about the life in the pen, making love with your wife in the pen. You know what I mean? They don't know about that shit. They out here taking penitentiary chances, and they don't know what they facing when they get in there.
They're making
Predators
love with your wife.
feed on fear. When you go in there and you show your first sign of fear, you done. They're like ravenous hyenas on your ass when they find out you scared. They finna diddy your ass up.
But that's when you tapped in though, right? That's when you started to like read more heavily and started to tap all the way in, right?
I was look. I had caught my case. I was 17, right? I had been working on this shit since I was a little boy because I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Why I wasn't born into the same life of privilege that I normally am born into. And by the time I was like 6, I knew we had lost the war and got conquered, and that I had to figure out exactly what's the steps to get us back where I can have that life I normally am born into, and it's the redemption process. As a crown prince, my I have to figure out certain